Hi guys, this is Keshav Malpani and welcome back to yet another session of 12 Minutes to Clat. Today we're going to discuss about one of the hottest events in the world politics in recent times, which is the Taliban's taking over of Afghanistan. So I had already made a video on the USA-Taliban peace deal and the contents that they had signed on February 29, 2020. You can visit the description box, the link is attached there, you can watch that for more clarity as well. So today we're not going to discuss a lot of background because I had discussed the background in that video itself. Today I'm going to tell you as to what was the scene with the United States of America, Taliban as well as the Afghan government, and how did the Afghan government take over and what do we expect them to do now, and what is the aftermath of taking over of Afghanistan by Taliban. That is something we're going to discuss today. So guys, the entire world I would say is really shocked and really startled by such quick takeover of Afghanistan by Taliban. So we're going to discuss as to how did they do it so quickly in this video itself. First of all, the US actually under the government of Joe Biden had decided that they will leave Afghanistan, their army will leave Afghanistan by 31st August 2021. That was the cut-off date that was given. तब तक वो छोड़ देंगे उस आर्मी को, उस कंट्री को, उस आर्मी से, वो आर्मी वहाँ से निकल जाएगी. Now, before the due date, somewhere around 9th or 10th August, the US Army, about 6th to 10th August I would say, the US Army left Afghanistan, and they actually left Afghanistan on the mercy of the Taliban. In the last video, as you would recall, I had discussed that US Army was supposed to train the Afghanistan soldiers as to what to do and how to tackle the Talibanis if they take their combatant role and start fighting with these people. The Afghan army could not retaliate at all at the Talibanis. In fact, it's believed that at most of the places, they just surrendered. The Afghanistan army just surrendered in front of the Talibanis. Therefore, on 15th August 2021, while we were celebrating our Independence Day, there was this one country where a militant group like Taliban had taken over completely. It came to the city of Kabul, and there were, I would say, very dreadful scenes from this particular city where people were rushing to the airports and they were just trying to flee Afghanistan in the first opportunity they get. A lot of people died because of that. We saw certain videos of people just falling down from airplanes and so on. So that was slightly, I would say, scary pictures from Afghanistan. Now let's understand as to why is everybody so opposed to Taliban being in power. I think you would already know that from 1996, when Taliban had actually executed the then president of Afghanistan, Mr. Najibullah, from 1996 to 2001 till the US invaded Afghanistan, उन 5 साल तक Taliban had actually taken over Afghanistan, and that regime was really conservative, and I would say it was really threatening for everybody living in that particular areas. Very conservative application of Sharia law and very conservative, I would say, general attitude of the government was a major concern in that particular area. Now, what were the kind of things that they did which people feel that, which might not be good for the country? Some of the basic things, first one was with respect to women rights. Okay, women were not allowed to head out of their houses without a male counterpart. Unless there's a male counterpart with them, they were not allowed to head out even for emergencies. Other than that, women were not allowed to study. They were not, forget being encouraged to study, they were not allowed to do so as well. You must have heard about Malala Yousafzai in Pakistan. Right, so there was this group called Tehreek-e-Taliban. That group actually shot that girl in her head just because she was trying to promote education for women in that valley. Now, this is the kind of conservative attitude that the Taliban government had actually adopted when they had come for their first term. Although this time they say that they're not going to do any of that, women are allowed to do whatever they wish to do, okay, within the contours of Sharia law. Now, within the contours of Sharia law is a slightly, I would say, tricky term, because Sharia law can be interpreted very strictly, because if you look at the Sunni Muslim countries, there is a country like Pakistan where they've seen Benazir Bhutto as their prime minister as well. Whereas you look at a country like Saudi Arabia where women are allowed to drive vehicles just a few months ago. So, very different kind of application of Sharia law, and Afghanistan under Taliban is believed to have really strict interpretation of Sharia law, which might pose a lot of problem for women rights there, and women might be subjected to certain radical rules that Taliban had actually imposed earlier as well. Other than that, a major advantage that Taliban has gotten now is that they have actually increased their resources, because when the US army just left everything there, their arms, their ammunition, their helicopters, their vehicles and all those things have been seized by the Talibani soldiers now. So those are in the hands of Taliban now. Already Taliban is one of the richest organizations, I would say one of the richest militant organizations in the world, with a revenue of $1.6 billion as per 2019-2020 data. तो इतना revenue आता कहाँ से तालिबान के पास? So Taliban's major revenue comes from mining important minerals as well as by selling, or I would say trafficking, drugs. Okay, opium is a major drug. Afghanistan is in fact the highest producer of opium in the world. So Afghanistan में वैसे opium grow करना is not legal, but there were certain areas which were under the Taliban before they had taken over the entire country also. उन areas में they used to incentivize farmers to grow opium. Farmers कुछ tax देते थे to the Talibanis, but opium is a very, very profitable crop because obviously its prices are really high as compared to any other conventional crop like rice or wheat. So farmers used to earn really hefty amount even after giving taxes to the Talibanis. So that used to be a major source of income for the Taliban, and now they've increased their resources. Now, major concern is as to what happens to India because of millions of dollars of investment in Afghanistan. Very recently, we're trying to build certain dams like the Shahtoot Dam, Shalma Dam and so on. So what happens to those dams and what happens to the other kind of investment that we have there? That is a major concern. Other than that, if you say China is definitely going to come really close to Afghanistan, because of obviously they keep building roads in each and every country. They've been doing it in Pakistan, in fact in the Pakistan occupied Kashmir and so on, which has been a matter of concern. And since India might have certain strained relations with the Talibanese government as such, China might be able to come closer to them quite easily. Other than that, all these countries, if you look at, they're quite anti-US. When you look at Russia, look at Iran, Pakistan for that matter, they are anti-US and they are going to make Afghanistan, or I would say the Taliban government, as their close ally, which might prove to be really problematic for India, because if you look at it, China has been surrounding us from all the sides anyway. Okay, from Myanmar, Nepal side in the east, and I would say in the southern side, the Sri Lankan Hambantota port or the Colombo port city that we discussed about is something that China has been doing on a daily basis. Now in the northern side as well, if they take control of Afghanistan also, and if Afghanistan, the Talibanese government become a close ally to China, this might create a lot of problem for India, and India might not have any other recourse. Now another major problem that India may see in coming days is increase in terrorism, and we might have to be really vigilant about it, because now other than Pakistan, Afghanistan being a close ally, they might create some kind of a situation, particularly in the Kashmir area, which has been a very sensitive area for quite some time now. One, I would say, kind of recourse that India might have is to bring Pakistan closer, but that also depends on the how Kashmir area unfolds, because Kashmir mein jo bhi hota hai, that takes the toll between the, I would say, relationship between India and Pakistan. So this is going to be really crucial for India in the coming days. So I hope you understood the session. Guys, other than that, I've been taking a lot of free classes on Unacademy on current affairs every day at 9:15 p.m. I've attached the link to all those classes in the description box. Other than that, we're starting a new batch for the CLAT 2023 aspirants. You can join the batch, use my code Malpani, and get 10% off on any batch on Unacademy. This is with respect to this session. Thank you so much for attending it. If you like our sessions, please subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon so don't miss any updates from us. Keep liking us and keep following us like this. Thank you so much.